systems. Now let's take a look at another successful results-based project.
We put out information for producers, the entire spectrum of information that we thought they would need to make really solid business decisions. And that includes everything from looking at the family enterprise to what kind of changes could the family undergo, what could they withstand or what would they support, to the type of business structure that they would choose, the kind of marketing risk that they might be able to support. There are certain things that you can do, like selling quarters or halves of beef, that doesn't require a lot of investment in advertising and packaging and everything, and it's lower risk, lower return. So we laid it out that way with the degrees of risk and relative return, and said, okay, you know, here is the spectrum of information that we hope that you'll evaluate before you make any sort of change in business structure, any decisions along those lines, and then made ourselves available to field questions long after the workshops. We put together an extensive contact list so that they had the resources either right in front of them or they knew who they could call. In terms of results-based education, one of the most important things that I learned in doing this project and talking to producers and working with our wide range of collaborators was that this is really producer-led.
In the workshop, we learned that consumers, when it comes to beef, really don't differentiate between organic and natural. And it's been shown time and time again with consumer surveys. You know, we decided not to go organic because of the biggest reason, because of the processing. We'd have to go 2.5, 3 hours away over Wolf Creek Pass as compared to 35 minutes away to our local USDA inspected plant.
One of the main things we did get from the workshop was just a cohesive set of what the regulations require and what it does take to get a label and everything like that. With the marketing, you know, that was another big component of the workshop, was the actual marketing, and we realized that we had to have a website. And we've been getting a lot of calls from throughout the country now, people interested in grass-fed beef, and we've had a lot of Californians call, and evidently our prices are very reasonable to them, even with the shipping. And from the workshop, I think we realized that we needed to start slowly to avoid risk, you know, is to just start with what you have with, you know, very little capital expenditure and input, you know, some freezers. It took a little bit to get our label up and running and that sort of thing. But that's really one of the big things we got, were success stories from people who did start slowly and
Start slowly and generate revenue.
Right.
And then
And I think, you know, we
there.
also have the opposite of some other groups that might have gotten really big really quickly and had to go through near bankruptcy several times.
As a result of this successful project, 56 producers analyzed their business structure, opportunities, limitations, and risks to operating a branded beef business. 56 assessed startup and ongoing costs of diversification. 63 identified customer preferences as a basis for production and marketing. Here's our final example of a successful risk management project.
In the workshop, we start off with the game, and what we start off with is the ability of the farmers to go ahead and market through a simulated year, and we use an actual corn price year from history. And then we give them 9 different decision points to make that old crop marketing decision. We run through the markets, give them some market comments, they turn in slips every time. So we've got a back office in the back of the meeting room that actually inputs each person's marketing decisions. At the end of the night then, they get their own marketing decisions back in a result of how they would have performed in that example year, which is a real life year. So it's a real segmented, good adult learning experience that allows them to interact, first of all, experience a real life market, and then later on we show them their results, and we show it over 15 years of history. And what we found through these events was the most important aspect of having successful events and getting people to the sessions was when we had a local sponsor, a local county farm bureau, a local lender that stepped up to the plate and was a partner with us in collaborating to get that risk management education to those local producers. So they provide financial support, but I think even more important than that is they invite people to come. And it's that local connection that really makes these sessions work. Evaluation and project verification is very important, and we've done a so much better job here in the past few years. The grant allowed us to actually follow up with some mailings to producers that came to our sessions. So 5 or 6 months after harvest, after they had attended our sessions, we asked them some questions. And we also used that mailing to remind them about some of the education that they had received. We've got excellent response in terms of numbers of people that actually changed their behavior and weren't storing corn and soybeans as long as they used to, or were still very satisfied with the program. It's better than just that evaluation right after the meeting when everybody's got the glow. How does it stick, and what difference does it make on people's farms?
Since the workshop, I've been trying to make some changes, mainly widening my marketing window. I was pretty stuck in not selling anything before it was harvested, and I have come to realize that the best prices are often before that crop is raised, so I'm trying to widen that window and market things farther ahead.
I guess farming is a lot like football. We say football is a game of inches. Farming is a game of pennies, cents. If I can increase my income on a bushel of corn, and we raise about 100,000 bushels a year, if I can increase that 10 cents a bushel, that's $10,000 to my income. And that's what this session, this strategy session, helps us do, is gain pennies. You know, just they're small amounts sometimes, but they have a major impact on our profitability.
We get so focused on day-to-day farm operation. The beans need to be sprayed, or the corn needs to be picked, and where are we going to put the last 30 acres of corn, or the tractor's broken down. And sometimes you, oh yeah, the markets were down a penny or up 3 cents. Sometimes that kind of takes a back seat to what appears to be the more important task of the day. And getting to the meeting and really focusing on that for an evening, you kind of change your mindset, and it becomes easier to make a decision because you've been thinking about it longer. And you know, I remember what they said, and I think it's a good time to let go of some grain, you know, probably the next morning or a day or two later, something like that.
Well, we've both done that, haven't
we? I have come home from marketing club meetings and sold grain the next day. I've done that more than once.
We've both done that. And we compare notes, and I'll say, Rich, did you sell any beans the next morning or any corn? And we'll talk a week later. Yeah, we both did.
I did.
We didn't really compare notes.
Too.
As a result of this project, 588 producers committed to making a post-harvest marketing plan. 175 actually created a plan, and of these, 159 implemented their marketing plan using post-harvest marketing strategies. Our results-based grant program requires education providers to clearly identify the risk management results producers will achieve. It's no longer enough to do good work and hold interesting meetings. All of the project activities or efforts must lead to an identifiable and verifiable result for participants. We encourage education providers to begin with the end in mind by focusing on the targets or results producers will achieve by participating. For more information, contact your Regional Risk Management Education Center.